Currently at my parents' house in Michigan for the holidays. There's 5 people that live in this house. My parents, my sisters, and myself. And we're decorating for the holidays. Makes sense, it's that time of year. If I went back to Boulder right now, I move out of my apartment and I decide that I want to live with, let's say, 5 friends. And we want to move into a house, but, we can only find a 4-bedroom, so someone's going to have to bunk up. Not a big deal. Here's the problem. Currently in Boulder, we'd have to evict 2 of those people. If I was living with my family and none of us were related right now, in this house that we're living in and we're in Boulder, I'd have to evict like my mom or my sister or something. Boulder City law currently has it that no more than 3 unrelated persons are allowed to live in the same residence. And yet a ton of people are breaking this law just to be able to try to bunk up and live with other people because how unaffordable Boulder is. Yeah, these problems don't make a ton of sense. People can't live comfortably in an area where they possibly work or go to school, and at the same time, they're having to break the law and risk losing their home just to be able to have somewhere to sleep. We're going to talk about it and figure out why.
Boulder, Colorado is home to a bustling community of creatives, cyclists, climbers, students, and longtime members of the community. It is a haven for many people, but for some, it's nothing more than an unaffordable niche community where the wealthy can afford to live and the middle and lower class must choose to risk their safety by breaking city laws in cramped housing or reside elsewhere at the expense of further distance from their jobs and careers.
Here's the thing that's crazy about this. If you're living in a house, you think wanting more residents would be a better idea. More people you have live there, the cheaper it is, more affordable it becomes. Especially if you're, got a first job or you stayed there after you got done going to the university. Totally understandable. And you would think a city would want their housing to be slightly more affordable so they can end up having more people there. More people to spend money, more people to buy things, more people to interact with the community. Well, in Boulder, that's not exactly the same case. You see, the city of Boulder just got an evaluation recently that the average estimated home cost for sale is on the high end of close to almost $1 million. Now, if you look up a specific study, and I'm going to reference it later, they talk about how to live comfortably in Boulder. A median family income needs to exceed about $120,000. Yeah, most people coming out of college, especially with the university there, wanting to have jobs and live there, are not going to be making that right out of the gate. So it becomes something that's slightly more unattainable than we ever would have thought. So, housing-wise, what do? You think to yourself, where can I go? I want to live here. I got a job here. I'm applying for a job right now to try to stay in Boulder. Well, I'm not going to be making that much money. Here's the thing. There's an amazing program put together that are called co-ops. I know, you think REI co-op. Similar name, but not technically the same thing. With these co-ops, there's specific housing that they have. So someone will buy out a house and you can live there. Like roommates, except it's capped by income. So someone will buy this home, take care of a lot of the costs and everything else, and you're allowed to live in the home and apply to live there if you make an income from 3 different categories. $70,000 or less, $50,000 or less, or $40,000 or less. You have a communal space, sort of like your living room, and you guys kind of pitch in on everything else. These places also have emergency funds, which means they have the ability to help specific residents be able to afford living there. They also help them, especially with the pandemic and everything that's going on, to be able to cover the fact that a lot of people lost jobs. They couldn't cover a month's worth of rent. So with that, you have more things that they can do to help people out, which is kind of the point, especially with having unaffordable housing in the first place. They also can negotiate a contract with you to set up payments over a long term. Most of the reason this fund exists at all is so they can pay any sort of fees to the city if they don't have a resident that ended up filling a space at the time. But with that, that's one solution. It still doesn't cover the fact that it still costs too much money, it's still really expensive, and those home evaluations are really high, and not a lot of people are beginner families wanting to have kids and live in an area making $120 or more. So why is the city set up like this?
We asked one question, and the question was, why is the city set up like this? The city's set up like this for one reason. Because it can. There's not a single thing based off of city council or anything else that's gone on, other than the residency occupancy limit, that has made the city of Boulder unaffordable for most people. The reason is there's a limited number of housing. There's not a ton of new housing developments going up. But with that, there's more residents coming in. More people want to take the time to spend a little bit more money to be able to live somewhere that's nicer and makes them feel comfortable, rather than living in an area that's below a median average, doesn't cost as much, and doesn't make them feel as safe. Boulder's a place that's insanely inclusive, and everybody knows that. It's inclusive on all fronts, from people of different genders, backgrounds, races, religions. It really doesn't care. Boulder will take you in. The difference is Boulder will take you in if you, let you believe whatever you want if you can afford it. Here's the thing. For the city of Boulder, it costs, compared to median housing, this is a median, a middle ground of housing costs, compared to the rest of Colorado, it costs $354,400 more to own a beginner home in Boulder, Colorado than it does in the rest of the state of Colorado. That's just the massive disparaging difference between the two. On top of that, a studio in Boulder, compared to the rest of Colorado, is $386 more. A bedroom, a one bedroom, basically the difference between a single wall in a studio and at all is a $400 to $500 difference. And a 3 to 4 bedroom home, 2 bath, 3 to 4 bedroom, single bath, whatever. The average between those kind of different combinations is anywhere from $600 to $1,000 more per month. I've been trying to explain this entire video. The housing movement, the cost, my own frustration with the city that I live in. But in the end, I think the best people to explain this, and the best person, is a video from the movement itself. So here you go.
Boulder, Boulder, college town, why are things so upside down? Mansions, mansions on the hill, but our friends are homeless still. Bedrooms are for people. Prairie dogs in colonies, nests for birds and hives for bees, and our squirrel friends live in trees, but bedrooms are for people. Many bedrooms empty lie, while the rent goes sky high. Boulder City Council, why? Bedrooms are for people. Petition gathering, off we went, so that we can pay the rent. Pandemic tried to slow us down, but voters signed from all around, because bedrooms are for people. City Council said in May, 5th of August is the day. July came and then they said, we meant June instead. Bedrooms are for people. In this country, when you're wronged, the courts are there to stand up strong. Sue we shall, so we can prove that bedrooms are for people.